You've probably heard about the third temple, but what almost no one is telling you is that when it is finally built, it won't bring revival. It will bring deception. And this isn't a theory, it's prophecy. Jesus himself warned. When you see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, don't pray. Run. This is serious. This is urgent. This is now. It sounds counterintuitive, I know. After all, praying in the face of crisis seems like the most spiritual thing to do. But the warning in Matthew 24:15 leaves no room for doubt. Don't watch. Don't argue. Don't intercede. Just run. Something so profane, so dangerous, so demonic will take place in the most sacred site in Israel that the only safe move will be a strategic retreat. Jesus wasn't exaggerating. The world is distracted by wars, crises, and politics. Meanwhile, the preparations for this prophetic event are in full swing, right before our eyes. History is about to repeat itself, but with an even more diabolical twist. The return of the abomination, with a new face, a new altar, and a new character the world will celebrate. But heaven will reject. In this video, you'll discover the true meaning of the abomination of desolation, why Jesus used such strong words, and how the current landscape shows that the fulfillment of this prophecy might be closer than ever. And stay alert, because at the end of this content, I'm going to reveal to you a prophetic key that will open your spiritual vision and prepare you for the next steps. This key you can declare in prayer, write in the comments, or share with someone you love. Because once you understand what's about to happen, there's no going back. Prophetic knowledge transforms you, and today it calls you to a position of faith, discernment, and courage. Shall we? You're not here by accident. If this video came to you, it's because God wants to wake you up. While many are spiritually asleep, the Lord is calling a remnant, people like you, to see what's behind the prophetic movements unfolding. Right now, the reconstruction of the temple, the peace deals, and the speeches of religious unity. None of this is innocent, and you know what's most dangerous. This abomination won't come with violence, but with spiritual seduction. It will be something beautiful, well-produced, seemingly holy. That's why Jesus told us to run, not from the physical temple, but from the spiritual trap that will be set there. It's not the place that will be dangerous. It's the spirit that will dominate that environment that will be deadly to the unaware. This is where the practice urgent. But not just any prayer. The prayer we need today is for discernment. Prayer that our spiritual eyes be opened, so we won't bow to a false messiah or a false religious system. Pray as one who pleads for vision. Cry out as if your survival in the last days depended on it. If you have children, pray with them. If you're a leader, teach this to your group. And if you feel in your spirit that something big is coming, you're right, but you also need to be prepared. Read Daniel 11:31. Meditate on Matthew 24:15. Study the scriptures with a heart burning for truth. And above all, ask the Holy Spirit to guide you into all truth. He promised. He keeps his promises. Remember, God doesn't call us to panic, but to preparation. And that preparation begins with watchfulness, with prophetic prayer, with fasting, if necessary. Because the deception will be so convincing that, if possible, it would deceive even the elect. But you're not here to be deceived. You're here to be a guardian of the truth, and the truth has already begun to set you free. The story of the first abomination of desolation with Antiochus Epiphanes. They were unprepared. The Jews of the 2nd century before Christ believed all was at peace, while an evil power was silently infiltrating the heart of their religious system. Antiochus Epiphanes wasn't just another king. He was the dark forerunner of what Jesus would later call the abomination of desolation. This Syrian monarch with a satanic mind stormed into the Temple of Jerusalem around 167 BC and instituted something unthinkable. He set up an altar to Zeus in the Holy of Holies and sacrificed pigs, completely defiling the sanctuary. For the faithful of that time, it was like watching their faith trampled before their eyes. There were no more sacrifices to God. There was silence. There was horror. The abomination of Antiochus wasn't merely political or military. It was spiritual, a direct assault on the God of Israel, with a demonic performance staged at the very center of worship. The people were caught off guard because they didn't expect something so grotesque to come from a king who, in theory, was there as an ally. But prophecies had already warned them. Daniel 11:31 was written centuries earlier and had already foretold this moment. They shall profane the sanctuary, take away the daily sacrifice, and set up the abomination of desolation. God had already spoken, but few took it seriously, and when the abomination came, many didn't know how to respond. Flee, resist, hide, or compromise. Everything was at stake. This is the point where the teaching connects with our present. Just as Antiochus entered the temple and mocked true faith, today's world is preparing the ground for something even darker to happen again. And what's most dangerous, this time, it won't be announced as a military invasion, but as a spiritual movement of peace and restoration. The stage is almost set. The connection between Daniel's prophecy and Jesus' words in Matthew 24. Jesus didn't waste words. When he said in Matthew 24:15, "So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination of desolation spoken of through the prophet Daniel," he was sounding a prophetic alarm that still echoes today. It was as if he was saying, remember what has already happened, because it will happen again. But this time it will be greater, subtler, more universal. Christ's disciples expected glorious signs, but he pointed to something terrifying. To Jesus, the abomination of desolation wasn't just ancient history. It was a prophetic pattern. He connected the past, Daniel 11:31, the present, the imminent destruction of Jerusalem, and the future, the time of the end. That's why he didn't recommend prayer. He said, run. Many religious people expect grand revelations from heaven, but they ignore the warnings already written in the Word. Jesus was clear. When the abomination appears, it will be time to run, not to contemplate. This reveals the severity of the spiritual deception to come. The temple will be profaned again, not by a Syrian king, but by a system that presents itself as messianic. This is where the connection with Daniel deepens. The structure of Daniel 11 and 12 shows a conflict between two powers, the king of the north and the king of the south. But it culminates with a third, an arrogant king who exalts himself above everything divine. He sits in the temple, pretending to be God. This is not just geopolitics, it's the spirit of the Antichrist entering where it never should. Those who don't know this connection won't recognize the signs. Many believers are distracted by empty theological debates, while the pieces fall into place exactly as Christ warned. The temple will once again be the stage for a cosmic fraud, and when it happens, those not rooted in the Word will risk applauding the lie, thinking it's the fulfillment of the promise. The current landscape for the reconstruction of the Third Temple and the imminent danger of a repeat of the event. Do you feel it? There's a restlessness in the air. In Israel, stones are already being carved, priestly garments sewn, and even specific animals bred for sacrifices. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem has been working quietly, yet urgently, on the reconstruction of the Third Temple. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's a public, accessible, visible, prophetic plan. What's curious is that this reconstruction is supported by religious and political leaders from various parts of the world, even by Christians who see it as the fulfillment of divine promises. But what few realize is that, according to Jesus' words, this temple won't be a house of prayer. It will be a stage for abomination. The Antichrist won't come with horns. He'll come with charisma and spiritual rhetoric. This is precisely where the danger becomes more real than ever. Most people expect evil in its grotesque form, but the abomination of the last days will come disguised as revival. It will come with promises of peace, of unity between religions, and a leader who will be celebrated as the solution to the Middle East conflict. Daniel and Jesus have already warned us. Are we ready? The reconstruction of the temple is not the sign of the end. It's the sign that the great deception is about to begin. Matthew 24:15 warns us that when we see this sign in the holy place, it's not time to celebrate or visit Israel or watch it unfold on TV. It's time to run. Run from the lies. Run from the deception. Run to the living word, where the truth that sets us free resides. This is the prophetic warning no one wants to give, but it needs to be said. The same abomination of Antiochus is about to resurface, only now on a global scale. The stage is set. The actors are taking their positions. What's missing? Just the curtain rising. And when that happens, it will no longer be time to study the signs. It will be time to act quickly. And now that you know what's about to happen, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep it to yourself, or will you become a watchman for your house, your church, your circle of friends? Will you wait for the abomination of desolation to arrive without warning, or will you rise as someone who recognizes the signs of the end and chooses to be ready? Are you spiritually prepared to flee from deception when it manifests? Are you willing to reject what the entire world will applaud? Can you make a firm decision today, even if it costs your comfort zone? Because yes, living with a prophetic attitude takes courage, but it's that courage that separates the deceived from the awakened. If this message spoke to you, write in the comments, "Lord, open my spiritual eyes. I choose to flee from the abomination and follow your truth." And share this video with someone you love. Maybe that person is one step away from deception and doesn't even know it. How about being God's instrument in their life? Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay with us, learning how to live in discernment, aligned with biblical prophecies, because this is the time to raise a truly prophetic generation, without fear, without religious idolatry, with hearts rooted in the Word. Now, to keep diving deeper into this prophetic journey and better understand how to discern the times, click here on the screen and watch the video, The Secret Rebellion in Heaven, the event that changed the universe, how it affects your prayers. It will show you how to identify the early signs of apostasy inside the church and what to do to avoid falling into that trap. I'll see you in the next video.